Well, reluctantly, I started the conversation last night, unfortunately, because, what happens nowadays is anytime a computer model shows any snowflakes, it's going to get flooded out on people's Facebook pages, out on people's Twitters, and unfortunately, I can't stop that. It's the world we live in, but what that means, though, is that when that stuff happens, I think it kind of causes some panic. Anytime you have a chance of any snow showers, snowflakes, anything like that, we always see within our area, people get nervous, people get uncomfortable. So we kind of jumped into this discussion last night, and really my hope was for you guys to get realistic expectations, because when you post something like, blah, 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 computer model says snow on Friday night, the average person is like, what? Wait, what? And so, like I said, in a best case world, I would feel like that this stuff wouldn't happen. In the current world that we live in, there is there's just sensationalism that's part of what happens. So, I discussed it last night, and I felt like since we had to dive into the conversation last night, I wanted to give you realistic expectations with a Facebook Live video here tonight. What I would ask you guys is, as we start the video, we're at 7:55. If you're new here, we go to about 8:25 when we start at 7:55. So basically, a Facebook Live video for me lasts about 30 minutes. And what we do every time we do a Facebook Live video is we set what we call a share goal. So the share goal tonight is to get up to 1,000 shares. So if we get to 1,000 shares, tonight would be the 113th night in a row above 1,000 shares. We've got 200 eyeballs in here, so how do we get to 1,000 shares? Easy. Tonight we'd need about 5 shares per person. If you guys can commit to 5 shares per person, show me. Let's see some thumbs up flying across the screen. If you think I'm out of my mind, we're going to end our streak tonight. This will be the first time in 2017 that we're not going to get to 1,000 videos. Show me the angry face. What I suspect that we're going to see is a bunch of thumbs up flying across the screen, because it seems like you guys just are not going to miss that goal this year. We are now only 2 months away from the end of the year, and we've done it on every single day. We've done a Facebook Live video over the last year almost. So it's an impressive streak, which I don't want to start over. So we need to get to 1,000 shares tonight would put us at 113 in a row. I'm going to add a couple from me. I'll put that onto WDRB News and then onto WDRB Weather, and we will begin our discussion. Looking like a lot of thumbs up coming across the screen. Some sad faces. I assume that's because some people aren't ready for winter. Before we jump into the video, though, I'm going to ask, did anybody see WDRB News at 4? Thumbs up if you saw the end of the newscast at 4 tonight. Did anybody see it when we showed the video of the television news anchor eating that really hot chip? Did anybody see it? Looks like I'm seeing some thumbs up. So what happened is, you guys know that if you're a fan of my Facebook page, you know that we have done for some time these hot salsa challenges. So what happened today is the producer came to me and said, Mark, we've got this story about people in Denver eating these hot chips. And what happens is one of them gets sick. And she said, do you guys have anything hot that you can eat live on the air? And I'm like, well, we do have this salsa. It's basically a parting gift from Jeremy. Somewhat evil parting gift, but nonetheless. So I'm like, yeah, we got this salsa. It's got 4 Carolina Reapers in it. And if anybody's ever touched or eaten a Reaper, they know it's evil. I mean, that pepper is pure evil. So what we did during the last minute and a half of WDRB News at 4, we ate it. We ate the salsa live on the air. Now for some, it wasn't bad. For me, I pride myself in actually being able to eat hot things. But for Rick and for one of our production guys named Dylan, it didn't go so well. So if you guys have not seen that video, it's on my Facebook page. It's about 5 minutes long. Make sure you spend the 5 minutes, turn on the sound, and watch the tears come down people's faces, because it's hilarious. And the producers that wanted us to do it, we had her eat it. It's her idea. She needs to eat the salsa too. So it's funny. It's funny. If you get a moment, it's on my Facebook page. Take a look. So tonight's Facebook Live video, could we mix any snowflakes in on Friday night, A? And B, could it cause any impact? Remember, the goal tonight's to get over 1,000 shares. Everybody give me 5 shares per person. We'll easily do that. And then you won't have to hear me talk about it at the end of the video. But the second part to that question is, could we see any impacts? And let's start with the second part of the question. Could we see any impacts even if we were to mix some snowflakes in tomorrow night? Well, what we want to do here is look at the pavement temperatures. The pavement is obviously critical. If the pavement is cold enough, then you can stick snowflakes. The pavement, sorry for bumping the mouse, the pavement temperatures, Western Kentucky 70, 65, Litchfield 72. These are a couple of errored sensors, 67 in LaGrange and 65 in Shelbyville. So if you're looking at this and laughing and saying, you know, really? Could we see any impacts? I mean, the pavement's 67. I would say to you, ding, 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 the pavement is way warm. Guys, if you see a snowflake tomorrow night, it would be simply a visual thing. It would not cause issues. But with that said, we're going to look at the high-resolution NAM computer model. 06Z on Saturday means about 1 to 2 a.m. So let's just say slightly after midnight on Friday night. Here's Louisville, here's E-Town, here is Salem, and here is right here around the Seymour area. So when you look at this, you can reference Louisville being right here. Just for ease, I'm going to keep the pen at Louisville so you can kind of digest this a little bit easier. So let's move forward. As we go towards around 4 a.m., you see a couple of blue dots in there with predominantly green. By 6 a.m. on Saturday, you see some blue mixing in with the green. So what does this mean? It means some snowflakes could mix in. What does it mean as we look towards 7 a.m.? It shows a couple snowflakes mixing in from around Cincinnati through around, let's say around the Taylorsville area. And then as we go towards 8 a.m., it shows any snowflakes that occurred exiting our area. So if you're looking at this completely and totally underwhelmed, then you would be accurately seeing the data. Let's look at the GFS computer model. Same time, this being around 2 a.m. on Saturday morning. When you look at it, here's Louisville. It shows all rain. It's exiting east of our area, 7 to 8 a.m. And by midday, you can see the all rain has left. So the GFS, another version of our American model, shows virtually nothing. And finally, let's look at the European computer model. European computer model, this being Louisville right here. What you see is rain, and if you look real close, you got this little white dot here. What is that? That's a couple snowflakes mixing in. That is around 2 a.m. As we move towards the morning, you can see it shows a couple sleet pellets mixing in, generally in the bluegrass part of Kentucky. And then as you go towards midday on Saturday, you can see all of this pulling away. So when we look at the data here, we show nothing big, nothing that shows a big deal. And you're probably saying to yourself, Mark, didn't the computer model show a little bit more yesterday? You know what? The truth of the matter is they did. And this should show even a non-meteorologist why you should never post raw data. Because when you post raw data, you're telling people that that's what's going to happen. And when it doesn't happen, which it never does, then you damage the entire credibility of our science. And unfortunately, I can't stop people from doing it, but at the same time, it frustrates me to no end. So this is our low that's going to be moving across the area. Let's take a look at advanced track, 1 p.m. Watch this, guys. If you're just listening, come over and take a look real quick. 1 p.m., Louisville, 63 degrees. Okay, great, 63 degrees. 3 p.m., yeah. It's not that bad. It's 60 degrees. There comes the rain developing western part. What? By 5, it's 46. So from 1 to 5 tomorrow, the temperature drops nearly 15 plus degrees. But is 46 cold enough to support snow? In this scenario, no. The mid-level temperatures do start to crash post 4 a.m. And you'll notice there's this initial area of rain. it starts to lighten a little bit at 1, and then we develop a little back edge. And you can see the advanced track run that you're currently looking at shows some snow clearly mixing in. It's gonna, I think there's a legitimate shot, to be honest, that if you're awake at 4 a.m. On Friday night into Saturday morning, you could see some snowflakes occurring. It's even possible that you could see a burst. As we move towards around 7 a.m., the back edge, if it's mixing with snow, would occur from around Frankfurt through around Campbellsville and Columbia, and then you can see by around 9 a.m. that is indeed pulling away from the area. But I want to show you this because I think it is a very, 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 very telling graphic. And what I want to show you, and I'm going to pop out here real quick so I can back it up, but I'm going to start you guys at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Now, these are wind chills, but what I want you to do is notice the difference within our area. Can anybody see where the cold front is? I know it's hard to tell on this map, but can anybody see? All right, it's not hard to tell at all. That's crazy. So on Friday at 2 p.m., you have a wind chill of 34 in Paoli, 55 in Louisville, and 60 in Campbellsville. The difference in our area is 26. 26. By 5 p.m., the wind chill is 38 degrees, and look at what you're dealing with as we start things off on Saturday. No joke, if you don't know where the winter coat is, find it. If you don't know where the glove and scarf is, find it. You will need the gloves, you will need the scarf. It is going to turn way colder on Saturday. Are you a fan? Let me see some thumbs up if you like the colder. If you're not happy about it, let's see the tears. I'm already seeing some of those flying across the screen. I'll tell you something. The bottom line is, this is a really good case for why you don't post raw data. And what we get in this market is what we call metrics. So metrics tell us how people are doing on TV, how people are doing on social media. And you know what we saw yesterday is we saw the raw snow get shared like crazy. And that's really, really, really unfortunate. Because unfortunately, everybody out there that sees somebody posting raw computer model probably thinks, well, if a meteorologist is posting it, then that's what's going to happen. And I think the reason that I only will show you guys raw data in a blog or in a Facebook video is because I can explain it. And I feel like this stuff is important. What we have decided here is we cannot stop people from doing sensationalism. But what we can do is we can ground people and we can bring people back down to reality. Explain things realistically, without scare tactics or sensationalism, and let you guys know what to expect. Because quite frankly, my job is not to give you guys raw computer model data. My job is to forecast and tell you guys what I think is going to happen. So, that's the bottom line on this one. I think you guys know that I'm probably going to harp about this all winter long because the same people will post the same raw data and it's going to happen all year long. I'm still going to be irritated by it. I'm going to vent every time we do a Facebook video about how much it irritates me because it's me. So, anytime we're talking about some snowflakes, I know there's going to be questions. So let's start to open it up towards Q&A. Snowflake chance, how cold, any impacts. Let's do this. Let's open up this to questions. I want to update you also on where we stand on our shares. Remember, we got about 17 minutes left in the Facebook video. If everybody shares it 5 times, we'll easily get up over 1,000. So if you haven't shared, please step on it. 5 shares per person gets us up over 1,000. I need from everyone in here to do that for me so we can make it. Jennifer's asking about what's Saturday night going to be like. It is going to be really cold. I was trying to debate, do I want to go to the Louisville FC game on Saturday night? And I know a lot of people are thinking about heading to Big Blue versus Tennessee. I chose not to go to the game on Saturday night because I'm not standing out there for hours when the wind chills are in the 20s. I'm just not. It's wrong. It's just rough on your body. But if you're going to any of those, what I would tell you is you guys need to know where your winter hat, winter coat, and winter gloves are because it's going to be really cold. Kathy's asking about could any roads be slick on Friday night? The answer is absolutely positively no. There's no concern. The pavement's over 60 degrees still. Lori with a share, thank you. Tara with a share, thank you. Susan, I love that, with 10 plus shares. I appreciate that. By the way, right now we're sitting at 396 shares. So you guys got your work cut out for you. With 190 people in here, everybody's got to share the video about 4 more times in addition, or we won't make it up over. Nick is saying marching band state championships, Papa John's on Friday. It's going to be rough. It really is. My feeling is your wind chills are going to be 32 or less. Somebody's saying that there's problems with the Facebook feed. I don't know. That was an issue last week, so I apologize if there's more of those problems. Anybody else having problems with the Facebook feed tonight? We thought that it was repaired yesterday, so that's why I came back on. Let me note down bottom if you guys are seeing any issues in the Facebook feed. Gina's saying snow, snow, snow. Josh saying he doesn't think it's working right still. That's unfortunate. When does the rain end? It'll end on Saturday morning. Aaron's saying working fine for him. Kathy's saying no problems. Jennifer's saying it's okay. So if you're having problems, maybe exit out and come back in. So that sometimes can fix the issue if that occurs. Tina's saying cutting in and out. That's unfortunate. Sometimes when you leave and come back, that solves those problems. Josh Turner saying dropping and coming back in also. That's unfortunate. I mean, you know, we got, hopefully it's not bad so that we don't miss our share goal tonight because it's messing up. Leah saying no problem in Bardstown. Cindy with 10 shares from Clarksville, Tennessee. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Suzanne saying it's fading in and out. That's unfortunate. I'm going to try something real quick. I want to see what my internet settings are. Okay, they're set okay, so hopefully it's not a major problem. Tara saying which area is getting snow. So Tara, if you're asking that, then you probably didn't watch the whole video. Could a couple snowflakes occur? Yes. Is this snow? No. This is not snow. You're talking about some flakes, maybe a burst. But are you know, is there any chance of this accumulating? Zero. There's no chance. There could be some flakes mixing in, but, you know, the truth is that we've never seen measurable snow basically before Halloween. So, you know, I think you get that this is a huge stretch at best. Susan saying aggravating, can't hear everything I'm saying. That's frustrating. That's probably the reason why the numbers are not as good, but that means everybody else is going to have to pick it up if we're going to get to 1,000 today. Maybe phone issues. On my side, I've got it set to Wi-Fi, so I don't know that we're having any Wi-Fi issues in the station. Crestwood, Shirley saying you're good. 5 shares from Mary. Remember, guys, everybody share the video 5 times. It basically helps me reach as many people as possible. Goal is to get to 1,000 tonight. If we do, we're above 1,000 for the 113th night in a row. John's saying WKU 3:30 Central. How will the weather be? Cold in Bowling Green. It's a rough day. You know, if you're standing outside for several hours during a football game, you need to grab the winter coat. Where can we see some snowflakes? I honestly think anywhere within our area, to be honest, Tara. I think you go past 4, Louisville's got the shot. I think you go towards around 6 to 7 a.m. I think our eastern counties do. I think that, you know, there's really every part of our area could see some snowflakes mixing in. There's nothing in there that concerns me one area more than the other. Bobby's saying 10 shares. Thank you, Bobby. Jennifer's asking about fall colors. Fall colors are near peak. This weekend or next weekend, if you're going to try to view, would be the best. John's saying no snow flames. Josh Turner says, is this a polar vortex? So I want to answer that one. It's a good question. A couple years ago, what happened is national media, which go figure, told you something that unfortunately wasn't true. And, you know, at WDRB, I can tell you that my producers come to me and ask me questions about weather because we want to be accurate. You know, I feel like news, our job is to be accurate. So what happens for us as Mets, here's an example. We'll have a severe weather event occur. And what we will see is the very next day that people will say the storm struck without warning. We'll see it on national news all the time, and we all beat our head against a wall saying, you know what, we told you about this for 5 days. What do you mean without warning? Or sometimes there'll be a tornado warning up for several, 30 minutes plus, and we'll see it posted as without warning. So here's the problem. A couple years ago, somebody started this polar vortex. We talked about it forever. So the polar vortex is there today. It's there tomorrow. It's going to be there the next day. The polar vortex is going to be there literally every single day. It's when the polar vortex moves or displaces towards our part of the pole that we get colder. So is there going to be a polar vortex tomorrow? Yeah. Is there one today? Absolutely. Is there going to be one in a year? Yes. How about in 5 years? Yes. There will be literally a polar vortex every single day. However, like I said, it's when it displaces. Does this winter have potential to displace the polar vortex towards our part of the globe? I actually think it does. So, somebody says I look tired. I need to turn on the heat. Probably Saturday is going to be my day. Chris Wilson says he hasn't been here lately. No reason to apologize, Chris. Goals tonight is 1,000. Maybe having some issues with the feed tonight, so I'm going to need everybody's effort tonight if we're going to get up over 1,000. Probably 5 to 10 shares per person, and we're going to get ourselves there. Katie's saying just tuned in. Timing for Borden. My thinking is after 3 a.m. tomorrow night, if you see any. Kristen's saying, will I cave in on the heat this weekend? I have no illusion. There is 0 probability that I will make it through the weekend without turning on the heat. There's 0 probability. There's not going to be a lot of sun this weekend. It is going to be windy and cold. And I don't think that there's many people that are saying that we'll go through the weekend without turning on the heat. So my plan is to turn it on probably when I get home from work tomorrow. I will know that I made it as long as is humanly possible, but like I said, I'm not going to make it through the weekend. Crystal with 5 shares. Thank you, Crystal. Denise is saying we might not. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. There's cases where you know what you're going to see, and there's cases where it's borderline. This Friday night's a borderline scenario to get some flakes mixing in. Amanda's saying, I'm going to Holiday World on Saturday. Will it be miserable? Yeah, it will. You can go if you want. I wouldn't. I can't be outside in 45-degree, cloudy, and windy weather at an amusement park for me. For me, I would be utterly miserable. So, Katie's saying we're still on team holdout. I am for probably another day, but I will be team caved in this weekend. Tony is asking if I'm sweating from the peppers. I am not. If you watch the video, it was great. Dylan, one of our production guys, and Rick DeLuca were the best reaction. It's funny watching Rick deteriorate, where he's sweating, his nose is running. I mean, it's classic. It's great stuff. Denise with 10 shares. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Trevor saying, let it snow. Jeremy saying, let it snow. I hope we get snow in Christmas. Cindy saying she is no longer a member of Team Holdout. She is Team Caved In. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to make it much longer. Mary's saying no turning on the heat if there's any sun in her windows. That's the problem with the weekend, is that I don't think there's going to be a lot of sun, and I think that's why there's no chance I'll make it through the weekend. My temperature's been going up about 2 degrees during the afternoon and dropping about the same at night, but without any sun, I don't think that my house is going to heat back up during the day this weekend. April is saying, any chance that we get a good snow this year? Honestly, the problem is there is absolutely no way to forecast whether we're going to have a big snowstorm. There just isn't. And in our area, it comes down to those systems if they hit or if they don't. Sometimes you will come this close and just miss. Sometimes everything comes together for a big snow. And it is difficult to forecast a snowstorm 3 days into the future. It is impossible to forecast in the Ohio Valley if we're going to see a major storm a month or 2 or 3 into the future. I could do it. but I'd be throwing darts, and it would be a disservice to your intelligence. I would be insulting you, honestly, if I did. Patrick saying, I hate snow and I hate cold. It's always interesting to see the different reactions. Josh saying he wants a snowstorm on the scale of a nor'easter. You know, here's my opinion, and I'm not telling anybody to share it. But when we get big snows, it cripples the city. When we have major snowstorms, people die within our area, and that is an indisputable fact. And some of it may be because, you know, I drive here in our area during snow, and what I find is people drive the same speed when it's snowing and when it's not. And I think we all know that that's a boneheaded decision. I was driving home from work, I believe it was 3 years ago. I'm going about 50 miles an hour on the highway, and honestly, I'm fighting. And there's a guy that passes me going probably 80. And you know what? I'm thinking to myself, what a moron. And the guy drives by me going 80, gets off the highway going 80. I literally watch him lose control of the vehicle. It spins out, goes down a hill, and gets stuck in the ditch. So I stopped the car, obviously, because I want to make sure that the guy's safe. He was okay, fortunately. But you know what? That just speaks to the fact that, you know, half the wrecks we see are because people don't drive different when it's snowing outside. And we see it here all the time. People just don't respect it. And then there's the guy that has four-wheel drive that's, you know what? I got four-wheel drive. Man, I could go 200 miles an hour in the snow. My vehicle is made for this. And that's the guy you see at the bottom of the hill that has spun out on the highway. So, I mean, we got to think. We can't do that stuff. Let me update you guys on shares, by the way. We are at 713. All right, guys. Let's focus here for a moment. We got 4 minutes left on the video. I need your guys' help, or we're not going to get up over 1,000. I need 300 shares in basically 4 minutes. You guys got to share. You got to share several times, and you got to share often, or we're not going to get over 1,000. It would be the first time in the calendar 2017 year that when we did a Facebook video, we didn't make it. So guys, share away. Let's get ourselves up over 1,000. I don't want tonight to be the first day that we did a video that we failed in 2017. Share away. Let me quickly tell you guys what I'm going to be discussing on WDRB News at 10. We do not have the World Series on tonight. So what that means is we're on DRB tonight. So, WDRB News, top of the hour. We saw widespread frost last night. It's going to be way different tonight. And I mean way different. I'll talk about how cool, whether you need the scraper stepping outside tomorrow morning on WDRB News at 10 o'clock. WDRB News at 10:22. The temperatures plummet tomorrow. So what if I told you tomorrow we're going to see temperatures around 63 and wind chills of around 32 or 33 tomorrow? That's what we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see a monster switch when that monster cold front moves across the area, when the rain begins in your area on WDRB News at 10:22, and then WDRB News at 10:37. The weekend's got some cold. I'm going to talk about when the highs are in the 40s, and Halloween is only 5 days away. Will that cold last into Halloween for your little trick-or-treaters? That's on WDRB News at 10:37. So remember, I always love your guys' support on social media. You guys crush it night in, night out. And I also need you guys to support me on TV. I tell you guys the time I'm on TV so that you can tune in, get what you need. Remember 10, 10:22, and 10:37. My job is always, and I don't always tell you guys this, but my job is how the way I put food on the table is through TV. So I need y'all's support. We're at 8:24. We only have a minute or two left on our video, guys. Step on the gas on the shares. Our share goal tonight is 1,000. I want to make it up over 1,000 shares for the 113th night in a row. Don't expect the other person to make it for you. You guys need to do it yourselves. You can share multiple times. It indeed counts towards the goal. No matter how many times you share, it does count. 40 shares from Crystal, thank you. 8 shares from Josh, thank you, Josh. Share from Michael, thank you. Heather saying woohoo, that probably means that we're closing in on 1,000 shares. The goal is always 1,000. I will tell you guys, get it up over 1,100, because if you do, then you don't have to worry about Facebook metrics being a little off, and sometimes that does happen. 15 more from Denise. Thank you. Remember, take it upon yourself. Make sure we get up over the goal. Don't expect the other person in here to make it. James is asking if snow's coming. Could see some snow showers tomorrow night. Snow in the sense of the words not happening. Penny thinks she's already on Team Caved In. 6 shares from Lauren. Susie saying my 3rd share. Stephanie's given me 3 shares. 15 shares from Judy. Let me update. And we are at 1,000 shares. 113 nights in a row, guys. You guys are awesome. You made us up over 1,000 shares. Some thumbs up, some loves for you guys. You guys are always awesome. You really are. Josh Turner asked one question. I will answer it because I'm a huge fan of his. Somebody said, do I think Tom Wills would have used Facebook Live if he was still active? So first off, I consider Tom Wills one of the legends of Louisville when it comes to weather. The guy is awesome. He worked through some remarkable events, and I have really true and utter respect for the guy. I would say that, I would love to accomplish some of the things that Tom Wills did in his career. That would be a goal of mine. I think he's a great guy, and I look up to him. Do I think he would use Facebook Live if it was available when he was in TV? You know what? Maybe. I don't know. It's one of those things that we all have to decide what is the most effective way to communicate. And Facebook, for me, has been a very, very, very effective way to communicate. So I use it because it works. And everything, we all find what works best for us individually. So, all right, guys, you're up over 1,000 shares. Remember, you can continue to like, love, and share the video even after it ends. Remember, Team Holdout. As long as you can make it, I'm still Team Holdout, not for much longer. And lastly, if you didn't see the video of us eating the salsa with the 4 Carolina Reapers that I posted about 15 minutes ago, look down my feed. It's there. Remember, WDRB News at 10, 10:22, and 10:37. I'm going to rest my voice, and I will see you guys at 10. 1,000 shares. You guys are awesome.